Fantasy Football Factory preseason preview. We're going to talk about the running backs today. I'm joined by the King of the South, Mincy, by Moody. We are always as brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings right now, they're running their biggest fantasy contest, crowning not one but two millionaires for their NFL Best Ball. Draft one, get one. So first place gets $2 million. Second place gets $1 million. No waiver wires, no roster management, bigger rosters, so an injury will not end your season. So again, draft one, get one with a $20 entry fee when you enter a lineup in the Best Ball contest. Score another NFL Best Ball ticket to play for another share of $15 million in prizes. Again, sign up using promo code FACTORY on DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
And I want to add, last year I got to go to the championship weekend in Nashville. DraftKings does it so huge if you make the finals. Yes. They rented out a ballroom in an awesome hotel, went to the DraftKings social. Larry Fitzgerald was there, got to hang out and meet with him. Almost died riding mechanical bull. But they do it so big. Their VIP hosting is amazing. So not just you get to compete for $2 million. If you make the finals, you're getting an all-inclusive, amazing experience.
Awesome stuff. So, boys, let's talk about running backs. We talked about quarterbacks last week in the positional preview. Running backs this year. Let me know who your top running backs are for this season. I think there could be some differing opinions in this group. So, Mincy, why don't you hit me first with your top group of running backs?
Okay, I've got my top five. I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs, number one. Look, there's arguments that maybe because of the Montgomery thing, you do have to have a time split a little bit, but I just think Gibbs, the talent's just undeniable. And you've got the Ben Johnson thing is a little concerning, but I'm more worried about Goff on that end. But just the way he closed the year, and David Montgomery's a year older, you're not going to be able to keep Gibbs off the field. I mean, maybe it used to be a 60-40 thing. Now I think it's going to be like 75-25. And he catches the ball. He's explosive. He scores a ton of touchdowns. He's just a dude I want on my team. I've got Bijan Robinson, number two. I'm a believer in the Penix thing, so I think Atlanta's going to score more points. He really came on super strong last year after splitting some time his rookie year. And I think they'll be in a lot of shootouts. And I've got Saquon Barkley, number three. Obviously had the all-time year last year with the 2,000 yards. But they still, even though Landon Dickerson got hurt, they still have a really good offensive line. The big thing there, new offensive coordinator. But I think their culture doesn't get a setback after the Super Bowl. So really like Barkley. And he's also sneaky good catching the ball at the backfield that people forget. Number four, I have Derrick Henry. Is this a full point or half point PPR?
I was going off half point.
Okay, half point. Henry is the one guy that in a full point PPR league, it does hurt his value because he doesn't catch near as many passes. But even if Keaton Mitchell plays a little more, the thing with Henry, they're going to score a crap ton of touchdowns. They got an explosive offense. Shea put out that very fascinating stat of Lamar Jackson getting so few carries inside the 5. Henry, all but a lock to have double-digit touchdowns. He's my number 4. And my number 5, okay, if it's a half-point PPR, I'm going Bucky Irving. I was going to do Achane in a full-point PPR, but if it's a half-point, that hurts the Achane value. Plus, I don't know if he can stay healthy. So I'm going Irving. I feel like 1,300 yards, 10 to 13 touchdowns. I think he's got a big year.
And Rachaad White is opening the year. He has a groin injury right now. Let's see if he's ready for week 1 and all that stuff. But interesting top 5. Moody, who do you have in your top tier of running backs for this season?
So I have Jahmyr Gibbs 1. I kind of broke all these guys down on a yards per touch basis. Jahmyr Gibbs was the best running back on a per touch basis, 6.38 yards per touch. He had 20 touchdowns. He scored more touchdowns than every single running back in the league. I understand David Montgomery is a concern, but Gibbs' talent is undeniable. He caught 52 balls as well. I also have Bijan Robinson. The interesting thing with Bijan, he was one of the worst of the top 7 on a per touch basis. Only 5.16 yards per touch. I do think that'll be better this season. Don't get me wrong. He's incredibly talented. 15 touchdowns, caught 61 balls. That was the third most catches of any of the running backs. So there's still tons of upside there with Bijan. And one of the reasons I have Bijan above Barkley and Henry is because those are two playoff teams that I think might limit their touches a little bit. Not too much, but just enough for Bijan to be ahead of those guys. I think Bijan's going to be the true workhorse while the Eagles and Ravens protect their guys for playoff pushes. I've got Barkley at 3. He was at 6 yards per touch, 15 touchdowns, 33 grabs. Got Derrick Henry 4. He was 6.15 yards per touch. So he was actually the second best on a per touch basis. Obviously had 18 rushing touchdowns. Absolute stud. And then I also have Bucky Irving, number 5. He was at 5.96 yards per touch. And he didn't have as many touches as those other guys because he didn't really get going until week 3 or 4 whenever Rashad got injured. Then once Bucky fully took over, he was the man. I expect him to have a bigger workload this season. So I have Bucky Irving 5. I love Bucky this season. I'm hoping that he's still sitting there for me at pick 20 in my friends league. So he's someone I certainly have on my radar.
Okay. Sorry, I was going to go the A-Chan so we didn't have the same top 5, but the half-point PPR. Had to switch, Moody. Sorry.
Unfortunately, we think too alike sometimes, Mintz. I hate it. It's not a good thing for me that I think so similar to Mintz, but unfortunately,
yeah, it is. The greats are often misunderstood.
You guys are both on Jahmyr Gibbs number 1 overall. How do you feel about the changing number 26 to number 0? Does that do anything for you or no?
I think number 0 kind of rocks.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think it's more like I like it more on a safety.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more, I guess, because I'm a baseball player. Like those kind of things. The karma of it all, the superstitions, it is maybe a tiny bit of concern. But listen, the dude's incredibly talented. If changing his number is going to be that big of an issue, then I'm just going to be stuck with that issue because I've already spent money on him in one league.
So when looking at running backs this year, and I'm going to do this for receivers too, I'm changing my philosophy a little bit because a lot of fantasy football, we can prognosticate all we want preseason. If your guy gets hurt, you're kind of screwed. So I'm going the injury prevention route while layering in, obviously, performance, past performance, and things like that. So anyone that's 27 years or older, I am severely dinging, with the exception of like 1 or 2 people who I still will ding, but maybe not as much. So number 1, I have Bijan Robinson, and I have him number 1 by a pretty good deal. I think he is going to be the number 1 overall player in fantasy this year. And I take a look at the last 3 games of last season when Michael Penix took over. So a couple things I looked at when ranking running backs for age. He checks that clearly, 23. He played in all 17 games last year. His touches were a bit high. He had 365 total touches last year, which is more than you want to see for a running back going into the next year. But his age kind of offsets that at age 23. I mean, we've seen Bijan get thrown upside down, land on his head, and get hit where he's like spine over neck, and he's fine. I'm not super concerned about injury with Bijan. What I do look at is carries inside the 10-yard line. So when you get inside the 10-yard line, is that player getting the ball? And overall for the year, he was at 7.9%, which is not very high. But in the last 3 weeks of the season with Michael Penix Jr. in there, he had 14 carries inside the 10-yard line, but 14 total carries inside the 10-yard line. That was 20.9% of his overall carries were inside the 10. So he's getting the rock. He scored 2 touchdowns in every one of those games. I think Bijan Robinson is going to have a monster year. He averaged over 22 carries per game in those final 3 games with Penix in there. I think he's going to have a monster year. He had 61 catches last year. He can obviously catch the ball. He scores touchdowns. I love Bijan Robinson this year for fantasy. He is my number 1 overall player.
Oh, wow.
In all of fantasy football. So Bijan I have number 1. I do have Jahmyr Gibbs number 2. I didn't realize you guys were also Saquon haters. But funny to see that come back around. Jahmyr Gibbs, 23 years old. Obviously, you guys talked about him. I do also expect his touches to go up with David Montgomery getting hurt at the end of last year. Saquon Barkley, we'll talk about more in a minute. I actually have him as RB7, which is going to be lower than almost everybody.
You legitimately hate Saquon Barkley. I don't know what he did to you, if he picked on you when you were kids. But
I don't. We'll transition into that in a minute, but let me go over my. Okay. I actually kind of want to go over my top 12 if that's.
Yeah, go. Floor's yours, Senator.
That's what I have written out as well. It's 12. Yeah.
Running back 3. Nobody's going to have this guy this high, and I'm using a half-point PPR on this. I have Chase Brown running back.
I love it. Me and Moody both like him. He's in our top 10.
So he's 25 years old. He played in 16 games last year. Touches were great. 283 touches, so I think the arrow's firmly going up. Inside the 10-yard line, he had 12% of his touches were inside the 10. So he's getting the ball, and they're a high-powered offense. They're going to be scoring a lot of points. Their defense still is not good.
No.
They're going to be scoring a lot of points. Chase Brown is going to be a guy not only to catch the ball, he had 54 catches last year, but he's going to tote the ball inside the 10-yard. He's going to get it in the paint. Chase Brown, RB3.
He's explosive too. Look, I don't think. I mean, I know this might look like an outlandish take. I get what you're saying. You're on a high-scoring offense. Dude catches the ball. He has bursts, so he can break long runs. He's not old. He's good at everything. Look, this is a hill I can respect going for.
His ADP right now in running backs is RB10. I think that is far too low. I think he should be a first-round pick. I think if you're savvy, you hold off. If you can get him at the beginning of round 2, I love that. Chase Brown, I'm very, very high on. RB4, I have Devon Achane.
Okay.
And reasons you outlined me, he caught 78 balls last year. He is also very young, 23 years old. Chase Brown, I should mention, 25 years old. But Achane, 23 years old, played in all 17 games last year. 281 total touches. I love that. He does wear the Guardian cap, which hopefully helps prevent concussions, but he does get the ball 9.3% of his touches inside the 10-yard line. If they're going to be trailing in games, he's a great guy to play catch-up with. He's going to have a lot more of effect in that way.
Yeah, and the thing is, last year's stats, they had that horrible stretch when Tua was out early in the year, and he still was able to put up numbers if Tua stays healthy.
Yeah. I am aware of, the top running backs. So Derrick Henry, I do have at 5. He is an outlier. He is 31 years old, but he did play in all 17 games last year. His touches were a bit high, 341, but inside the 10-yard line. he gets 9% of his touches there, 31 of them total. He's just a beast. He's defied physics. He shouldn't have been good last year. He shouldn't have been good the year before. He is. He is the exception to the rule, and I'm comfortable with that. At RB6, I have Kyren Williams. I have him one above Saquon. He is 25 years old. He played in 16 games last year. He gets 10.6% of his touches inside the 10-yard line. He can also catch the ball, 34 catches, which is a little bit on the lower medium end of that, but he is a guy who has proven he can do that. With the Rams offense that should be having more scoring opportunities with Devontae Adams. As long as Matthew Stafford is under center or out of the shotgun, I like Kyren Williams a lot. And then I do have Saquon Barkley, and we can kind of transition – or hold on, let me go through the rest of my top 10, then I'll go into so I have Saquon one above Bucky. I have at 8. I have James Cook at 9, Josh Jacobs 10, Jonathan Taylor a little bit lower, 26 years old, at 11, and then Breece Hall at 12, who's 24 years old. But let's talk about Saquon. So obviously I had the steaming hot dump of a take last year that Saquon
that hadn't been clipped at all.
Would not be good. It would be resurfaced every time he scored a touchdown. And he was fantastic last year. There's no doubt about it. Saquon Barkley was incredible last year, absolutely deserving of all the honors he got. Part of my take, guys, just interviewed him. He called me an idiot personally. Totally understandable. Terrible take. I'll live with it. I do think this year, we've seen it with him before. The injury history is not good. Now, certainly the Eagles' offensive line is far better than the Giants, but here are the facts. He had 1 carry inside the 1-yard line last year. Obviously, they're big on the tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it. 28 years old, played in 16 games. The one he did sit out, so he was healthy the full year. His touches were crazy. He had 378 carries and 33 catches during the regular season. If you add in the postseason, he is a little bit short of 500 touches. 350 touches is a lot for a regular running back in a regular season. And you almost need to fade running backs once they get to that touch number. Being 28 years old, having that many touches, I think it's like 485, I believe was his touches for the full season. 28 years old, injury history, all those things to me suggest a regression. And a regression from his numbers last year would still be an excellent player. But I'm just being a little bit cautious, seeing as I'm changing up my strategy a little bit to just play the health game. Those things, if you take the name Saquon Barkley out of it, are not something I'd want to buy in on. And Derrick Henry, you give a little bit of a pass because he's done it every year. Saquon has not done it every year. And I'm not saying I'm low at him. I still think he's
7's not low.
I still think he's pretty safe first-round pick and a first-round, early second-round pick. I'm a little bit cautious just seeing, if you took Christian McCaffrey last year,
Oh yeah,
Really?
I did in the
Your
big
season's
league, and it
tanked.
just ruined me.
Season's
And
tanked. I'm a
usually-
little bit worried about that. So Saquon is a fantastic player. He's on the cover of Madden. He's awesome. Great player. I'd be a little bit nervous making a very early investment on this.
Okay, but I mean, it's not like 7 is like you're low on him.
Sure. I'm certainly much lower than industry. His ADP is 1 overall. Where do you stand? Where do you guys stand on Saquon? You guys didn't have him in your top.
We have him third. We both have him third.
Okay.
I just same thing you said. Just the 28 years old. Like when you got the Robinson and Gibbs both being 23 on offenses that should score a lot of points. The age is a factor, but I do have him at 3 just because how explosive that offense is. But I do love your point about the tush push thing because he doesn't get those 1 yard line carries, and that because Saquon, the touchdowns were all long runs last year.
Yeah.
He busted a ton of them, but that may not be the most sustainable thing.
We also, I think he averaged an insane amount of like 3.6 yards per carry before being touched last year. Right now, Mekhi Becton is gone. Landon Dickerson is hurt. So now it's like, okay, they have, potentially 2 new guards stepping up.
New offensive, new OC too.
Yes. So, and I don't attribute all of his success to Kellen Moore. Saquon Barkley was fantastic last season. Fantasy football for this season, previewing, we were projecting what's going to happen. I'm just saying proceed with caution.
I'm not near that low on him. I actually think the law of averages will work in his favor a little bit down around the goal line. I understand the tush push works all the time, but he's going to get a couple more carries this year inside the 2 yard line. It's my personal belief. And look, and on a per touch basis, he was just flat out one of the best guys in the NFL. He was third behind Derrick Henry and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I can't have him outside of my top 5 personally. I don't think he's going to get as many touches this year. I think it would benefit him and them in the long run to, 30 less carries during the regular season. But at 30 less carries, he's not going to be, if he produces near the same as he did last year, he's still going to be a top 5 guy. So I've got him third. I can't have him outside of my top 5 personally.
Yeah, if he, I would be interested to see if he can do it again. He's never been a guy to put together back-to-back monster seasons. Maybe this is the year. Obviously, Philadelphia a lot better than New York.
But he played for the Giants, and they are just dog shit. And that was my point last year to you when you talked about this, that I really thought going to the Eagles and this offensive line would change everything, unlock his full potential, and it truly did because the Giants are just flat out dog shit.
Is that offensive line as good as it was last year, though?
That's the thing. They were really deep, even behind their starters. They were deep. So if they may take a step back, but even if they take a step back, they're still going to be a top 3 offensive line in the NFL. And you give Saquon Barkley a top 3 offensive line in the NFL, I think he'll be fine. I do expect a little regression. I'm there with you. There is regression going to happen. He's not going to replicate last season. He reeled off a ton of long runs, but I don't think it's going to be massive regression.
Sure. Yeah. I want to be very clear. I think Saquon Barkley is an awesome player. A lot of him being RB7 for me is purely based on injury history and age and carries. All right, let's talk about another oldie but a goodie, Derrick Henry, 31 years old. Where do you guys stand on him? I know we're devaluing him a little bit in half-point PPR, in full-point PPR as opposed to half, but where do you stand on Derrick Henry? Can he do it again? Moody, I'll start with you.
I mean, you see his workout videos in the off season. This dude he's an animal. He's a machine. The way he's built, he can endure 300 plus touches. Like he's built to play this game. He hasn't lost his step either. I mean, just you see him pulling away from defenses whenever he gets some space. I don't think he's going to take a big step back. I think they're going to limit his touches a little bit. Keaton Mitchell is healthy, and Keaton Mitchell is that kid can flat out fly. He is impressive to me. He's somebody that I'm drafting at the back end of all of my drafts just in case something were to happen to Derrick Henry. But while I expect a little regression, I don't expect too much. In a full point PPR, I knock Derrick Henry a little bit. I kind of tend to go elsewhere in full point PPR leagues, but in half point, I think you have to have Derrick Henry right there at 4 or 5. He was the second most productive guy last season. He scored 18 touchdowns. He is a guy that does get the football around the 2 yard line, and you're a fool if you don't give it to him down there. So, I think it'll be a similar season, maybe not quite as good, but that's still going to give you a top 5 RB here.
Yeah, that's my. I mean, Moody. I don't have like tons to add other than the fact that he's indestructible. I mean, the way he takes care of his body, the 250 thing. Your point about I agree with you on the running back age thing. It's just he's the one that it just
he's the outlier,
and he was stuck in such a crappy situation those last couple Tennessee years. I mean, that roster was so atrocious, and getting to Baltimore just reinvigorated his career so much. It's a perfect fit. He was born to be a Raven, and I come back to the point I said a minute ago that you brought up. Lamar's not stealing the goal line carries that Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah. Derrick Henry, I am super high on. Or I don't want to say super high on, but I mean he's my RB5. Even the tremendous year he had last year, he was RB3, so he wasn't running away with fantasy, but he could carry you in a lot of weeks. There were so many games where, very much like Saquon, where he would just break off a long run for a touchdown, and then you're sitting pretty. So Derrick Henry, certainly a very good player, defying the age of the laws of physics. Age 31. Still doing it. We all like that.
I got one I want to bring up because you didn't mention him in your top 12, and I don't have a problem with you not mentioning him. It's what do people do about the Christian McCaffrey thing? I'm proceeding with so much caution. I got burned last year, and I know maybe I'm jaded, but the age thing, I think another thing that people forget about Christian McCaffrey, when he was at Stanford, he was getting 40 carries a game. They ran his ass into the ground in college. So his usage rate from even college is built up, and the injury history. And then the Niners thing, I mean, I know they're still, as long as Kyle Shanahan's calling plays, they're going to be pretty good, but it feels like it's trending downward.
Yeah. He's 29 years old. He is a guy that can absolutely win you the league. But we are very aware of the injury history. Last year, he cost many people a shot at the playoffs just by just how horrible the injury was, how high they took him. Right now, his ADP is RB5 in half-point PPR, RB4 in full-point PPR. Moody, where would you draft Christian McCaffrey this year?
So I have McCaffrey ranked number 8 on my list. Guys that he was more productive than last year on a per touch basis. Again, he didn't get a ton of touches, only played a few amount of games. He was still more productive than Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams. So for me, if he's fully healthy and that offense is just decent, I can't have him outside of my top 10. So I'm maybe a little bit higher on him than you guys are. The concern is the injuries. I mean, it's the main point with McCaffrey. It really is. So if he stays healthy, he could be a steal. He could be a league winner for people if you get him to fall to you in the right spot. So if that happens to me, he's someone I will consider. But he's such a notable name that in most leagues, you're going to have that one guy that wants to take Christian McCaffrey at ADP. And I can't quite do it at the current ADP. Or some guys will still reach for him just because of the name. So I don't think you're going to get enough value out of him. So he probably won't end up on my teams. But I think he'll be pretty good this season as long as he stays healthy. That is the concern.
I think, yeah, the first part of your sentence, as long as he's healthy. If he is healthy, he is top 2 or 3 running back, and I don't think there's any questions about that. The question is, can he stay healthy? And again, for me, 29 years old, I'm staying pretty far away based on his very long injury history. I have him as RB18. I am not taking this guy. I have RJ Harvey one spot above him. I am not touching Christian McCaffrey unless it is at late third round,
which will never
value,
happen.
4th round value, which is not going to happen. So he is essentially undraftable for me. He is not a guy I'm willing to risk a premium pick on.
I'm worried, and I know Moody. I like the fact that Moody brought up the per touch stats, but man, I mean, he was hurt last year. But you always see these running backs that just look up and they lose like a tiny step of that burst when they get to 29-30. And when they lose a little tiny step of the burst, it's over. I mean, you see it with everybody. And I'm worried that with everything he's gone through, he's just not explosive anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He does catch a ton of balls, though.
Yeah, and the goal, and he gets touchdowns, too.
Yes. It was a very small sample size. Last year, we saw his touchdown rate decrease a lot. Inside the 10-yard line, he got 2.9% of his touches, which was the lowest of any of the major running backs that I tracked.
But Jordan Mason is gone this year.
Yep.
He was a bigger bodied back that they could use in those spots. So no Jordan Mason there anymore. Like McCaffrey's gonna be the workhorse. He's gonna be the bell cow. So if he's healthy, he could be a steal for you. Like he is the
If
ultimate
he's healthy,
risk
he's one or
reward
two.
running back.
Yes.
Yes, he's the ultimate risk reward running back in this group. I don't think there's anyone with more risk, and I don't know if there's anyone with more reward in that same breath.
And that's, again, probably why he's essentially undraftable. I am pivoting away from risk. And, all the guys that I mentioned, Bijan Gibbs, Chase Brown, H.N., those guys could all get hurt. But based on a bunch of factors, they are less likely to get hurt. And if I'm spending a premium first-round pick on a running back, I want to take all the precautions and not take, Saquon Barkley, 28 years old. That's when Christian McCaffrey kind of fell apart. So let's see how that all goes. Let's talk about the rookies. So we got a bunch of exciting rookies. We got Ashton Genty. We got Omarion Hampton. We got Caleb Johnson. We got RJ Hart.
Yeah.
We got a
Travion
Henderson. We got a bunch of guys that can make differences for teams. Who stands out to you most, Mincy, of this crop, and who is your highest ranked of this?
Okay, I really, well, there's a lot of them to really like. I love the Marion Hampton thing.
Okay.
I think there's a huge thing, not just that Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman want to run the football. I mean, that is paramount. The Rashawn Slater injury sucks after they gave him 4 years, $113 million, but I still think they got a good offensive line. He's going to really try hard to be balanced. But the big thing with Hampton, he was awesome in North Carolina, but Najee Harris's fireworks issue. Because, I was worried when they signed Harris, okay, it'll be a split. Maybe Hampton comes on later in the year. Hampton's running totally with the ones already. I mean, he's the starter. Harris can't even practice right now. Harris also is not able to practice learning a new offense. So this is like a rare situation where I think Hampton's the number one guy, full go from the start, on a team with a very good quarterback, good weapons, a team that's going to run the football. So I love the situation, and I thought he tore it up in North Carolina, and I think he's instantly going to be really good.
Where do you stand on Ashton Genty?
That's the one that I'm not going to say that he's not good, but that's the one that's my total. I'm just out completely. I don't love the Raiders' offensive line. They play in that really tough division, and I think the hype on Genty is insane. I've seen all these drafts all year where he's ranked ahead of Derrick Henry. You're telling me you watch Derrick Henry play football and everything he's done in his NFL career on the freaking Baltimore Ravens, which have a top 2 or 3 offense in the league, and you're going to draft the Las Vegas Raiders running back over him? Are you out of your freaking minds? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think Genty will be fine, but I'm tempering expectations. Not going to be on one of my teams. I've got him like RB12.
So he right now ADP is RB6, which is one after Christian McCaffrey and one for Devon H.
The expectations are just unrealistic here.
Yeah. Moody, where do you stand on these rookie running backs? Who stands out to you?
Oh, I pretty much everything Mitch just said, I completely agree with. Genty is my number one not touching. Do not draft. He is not on my list whatsoever because of where he's at in the current ADP. I cannot do it. No chance I'm spending a first or second round pick on a guy that's unproven. That whenever you saw him, go back to the bowl game when he had to face his first real defense of the season. Couldn't get anything going. That is a big issue for me. I don't think the Raiders' offensive line is going to be good enough. I don't think that offense is going to be good enough for me to warrant using an early pick on Ashton Genty. I love Omarion Hampton, Greg Roman, run first offense, Najee Harris. He's not that dude. You're not that guy, pal. I think Omarion Hampton is going to run away with this job. It looks like they want him to be the dude. Love Omarion Hampton. Travion Henderson, another guy that if I can find him, if he falls to me in the right spot, I'm going to take a chance on him. He looks electric. Speed off the charts. We saw the kick that he ran back the other day in the preseason. But then my favorite rookie, and I'll save my full rant on this in a minute, is a guy that yesterday we didn't even know if he was going to be playing this season. But the report came down on Quinshon Judkins that he is the charges not filed, and all the details have now come out about this. This looked like a complete money grab. I mean, this whole thing looked like just a sham job from the start. So I don't even think he's going to be suspended by the league once this full thing gets investigated. Yeah, it worries me that he plays for the Browns, but I personally think he is the most talented running back in this entire group. I mean, I think he pops when he touches the football. He's got the moves. He'll run over people. I love Quinshon Judkins. He is my favorite rookie running back, especially because where you can get him in drafts, you don't have to spend a premium pick on him whatsoever. He is falling, falling, falling. I got him for $3 on my last pick of our auction draft. Incredible upside. I love Quinshon Judkins. I think he has a chance to be the number one rookie running back, depending on what Hampton does. I think they're neck and neck in my book, but probably Hampton is the safer pick for sure.
My only take that I'm worried about Quinshon is I actually really like Dylan Sampson in that backfield too. He was SEC Player of the Year. He was really good on Tennessee the last couple of years, and so I feel like he's going to be in the mix too.
I'm kind of aligned with you guys. I have Hampton as the number one fantasy back in this class. I have him at 13 overall. I have Genty at 14 overall. I actually think the Raiders are going to be pretty improved. It's hard to get worse than Aiden O'Connell and Sincere McCormick in the backfield than last year. So I think we're going to see the Raiders take a healthy step forward. That being said, he is still a rookie, and I am a little bit lower on him than ADP. I really like RJ Harvey in Denver. Reports on him are pretty good. I am seeing him atop the depth chart right now. They have J.K. Dobbins, who's really never held a job for more than even a full season as his primary competition. And last year, Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin was getting carries. This was Audric Estime. This is not a backfield that had really a guy that you could point to. And Dobbins, while is an okay depth signing, he's not a guy that I'm super worried about competition wise. So I do like RJ Harvey. I have him at RB17.
I like him too.
Jay, does the way that they used their running backs last year, does it worry you that there could be a timeshare, potentially a three-headed backfield? That's my main concern with them.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a bell cow that is going to be getting the 300 plus carries. I don't. We're talking about. I like him as what did I say? RB17. I think that's a reasonable expectation with upside. I think that offense is pretty good, and I think he's going to be the lead back in that offense. Now, will it be a timeshare? Probably, but I think he will get more carries than the rest of the running backs, and I think he's got some good ability. I do like TreVeyon Henderson. I have him at 20, which is a little bit above his ADP of 25. I mean, we saw him in the preseason, the very brief look. He's returning kicks. He's a great pass protector. He can catch the ball. He can run. He is kind of an Aaron Jones-y type player. And I do expect the Patriots to take a step forward with Mike Vrabel, and I do think I'm very high on Drake May. So I think TreVeyon Henderson.
I want to ask, Shay, what do you think of the TreVeyon Stevenson? How is this going to work split-wise?
I mean, is Ramondre Stevenson anything to get super excited about from
feels like a 50-50 split to me.
Yeah, so Stevenson is 27 years old, 240 touches last year. He's a big back, but even who was it a couple of years ago? It was like a timeshare between Ramondre Stevenson and it wasn't Antonio Gibson, but he's never been the full guy.
It was the Bama kid. It was Damian Harris.
Damian Harris, yes. He's never been the full guy. So he's age 27. He's been in the league, 5 years now? Are we expecting him now to take another full step forward? I think he's kind of shown who he is. I think TreVeyon Henderson provides a different type of dimension. One guy I would point out is Caleb Johnson in Pittsburgh, because Jaylen Warren right now is the starting running back, but based on his size, which is definitely on the smaller end for a running back, and he's a very good pass catcher and pass blocker, I would anticipate Caleb Johnson getting worked in quite frequently and potentially overtaking that job in kind of a Najee Harris type role. So I think he does provide some pretty good value. I have him as RB23 right now. He is going at RB27. So that's a name to remember towards the
Pittsburgh's going to try to be balanced and run the football too.
Certainly. All right, let's move on to hot takes. Last year I had the horrendous take about Saquon, which got resurfaced as we've talked about. What is your guys' hot take this year for running backs? Mincy, I'll start with you.
Okay, because I already threw one of my nukes on the Ashton Genty thing that I don't like. So we have a hot take thing and our guy.
Yep.
So they need to be two different ones.
I mean,
okay, the same. Here's my hot take: Isaiah Pacheco I mean, value city this year. He's going RB23 right now. Keep in mind, extremely explosive. He runs like a 4.38. The thing that has people off him, he broke his fibula last year, missed 8 weeks. He tried to come back in the playoffs. He was still hurt. He was definitely still hurt in the playoffs. And so that's why people are off him, because the last stuff they saw, he was hurt. All reports, Andy Reid saying he's crushing at camp. You know, we went off about when we talked about the Chiefs and Mahomes. They try to run the ball more than you think. He's their number one guy, and he's explosive. I really like him. I think he's top 15 running back this year, and the value is crazy on him at 23 because people are so far off him. He's still not old either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just there's a lot to love there. So my hot take is big on Pacheco.
All right, Moody, what's your take for this year?
I've kind of gone back and forth on this one. I think I'm going to go with something that. All right, I'm going with DeAndre Swift here as my hot take. I think he is going to be a yes, but you know why? Because he's getting Ben Johnson back. The best season that he ever had was with Ben Johnson as his OC. And so Roshan Johnson to me is just not that guy. I'm not personally a believer there. I think the way that Ben Johnson uses his running backs, we've seen Swift catch the football to the backfield plenty in a Ben Johnson offense. I think he's going to rebound. He didn't do much last season. I think he's going to rebound and have a very usable fantasy season. And I think he's like RB, 24, 25 right now. I think he could be a top 15 back, to be completely honest with you. If this offense takes a step forward, his touchdowns go up, catch the football out of the backfield. I mean, I like DeAndre Swift this season to be a guy that has a bounce back, puts together his best fantasy season potentially ever. I mean, I really think it's possible in this Ben Johnson offense. So he's someone that has really started to make sense to me as I've gone through, done a couple drafts. I like DeAndre Swift. He's my hot take to finish, let's say, RB16 this season.
Okay. He's going right now as RB21. So, yes, you're pretty healthily higher than him, higher on him than industry. I mean, my take, I basically kind of said them already, is that I think Bijan Robinson is the number one player in fantasy football this year. The numbers were way too good with Penix last year. I'm extrapolating that over a whole season. He's going to be a monster. I think we're going to see a type of season that is, we haven't seen these in a while, or I guess we did see it with Saquon last year, but he's going to be that type of like league winner that like the LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes, like Le'Veon Bell, like that type of monster gap between number one and number two. So I think Bijan Robinson is the number one player in all of fantasy football this season.
So you have Matt of Jamar Chase?
I do, yeah. And I mean they play for the same team. I just like Brown's versatility so much better. And Chase was the number one receiver last year. That is a position that's very difficult to repeat. And
yeah.
I certainly think he is an elite player. He is
you're not hating on it. Yeah,
he is my wide receiver one. I just think Chase Brown versus the rest of the Bijan Robinson versus the rest of the.
You think there's a bigger gap? Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a bunch of good receivers, top receivers.
Yes, and then also I'm comfortable running back Saquon Barkley like. Whatever it was, 475, 485 total touches in a season is far too many. For a 28-year-old running back, that's a guy I would proceed with a lot of caution with. I'm not saying don't draft him. If you're at pick 10, 11, 12, absolutely.
I mean, he ain't going there.
I know, which is essentially making him undraftable for me. I am not touching him with a top 5 pick. All right, let's go with your guy. Your guy, Moody. Who is your guy this year?
Well, I talked about him a moment ago, and it's Quinshon Judkins for me, based solely on where he is going in drafts. He's going to be my RB3 or 4. He'll be my RB4 technically, right? But I think he's going to be a season winner for guys when fantasy championships roll around. I think he is going to be a difference maker like that. And look, I don't have to spend a premium pick. I can fill out my entire roster, and then I can take a chance on a guy that could potentially win me a championship. Sure, maybe Dylan Sampson has a say in it. Jerome Ford he's one of the worst starting running backs in the entire NFL. Not worried about him whatsoever. Judkins is going to run away with that job once he gets enough carries. I have no doubt about that. This guy pops when you watch his tape from college. I mean, he is legitimate. He looked good at Ole Miss. Quinshon Judkins is my guy that I'm drafting in damn near every single league because of where I am getting him in drafts. I can fill out my roster, and then I can get the guy that's going to win me fantasy championships this year. Give me the big Q, Quinshon Judkins.
And when you say RB4, you mean RB4 on your fantasy team, not overall against.
Yeah, like on my team. Yeah, so yeah, RB4 my fantasy team. Like Jahmyr Gibbs is my number one target in the first round if I can make it happen, and then I'll figure it out from there as the draft goes on. But if I can get Quinshon Judkins as my fourth running back on my roster with that kind of upside, I mean, it just feels like a steal for me personally. So I'm all over him. It does concern me that he plays for the Browns. If he played for anyone else in the NFL, I'd be going even crazier about him. But I love Quinshon Judkins this season. I think he's going to be a stud.
All right.
I'm just going to repeat my two very quickly. The Amari Hampton thing, I think he's the guy from day one on an offense that's going to run the ball. Greg Roman offenses always do. Harbaugh wants to be balanced. I think he's the number one rookie, not Genty, and the rankings are messed up. And then I just repeat, you already heard about Pacheco take, but that's my other one.
Okay. Yeah, mine is a little bit of a regurgitated take. So Chase Brown finished as RB10 last year in half-point PPR.
But he didn't really emerge. Beginning of the year, Zach Moss was in there.
He didn't, yes. He did not really emerge last year. Just looking at like his stats, like he wasn't starting consistently until week 9. And then he just started putting up numbers. Give me Chase Brown as I honestly believe he'll finish as a top 5 fantasy running back. I have him as RB3. Chase Brown is my guy at the running back position this year. I think he's absolutely worthy of a late first-round pick. All right, now let's talk about our favorite bets this year. These are brought to you by Props.cash. Props.cash, I've talked about it before. My absolute favorite place to research bets. What it is, it is an app. You download it, go to a mobile web browser, www.props.cash. If you enter the code DATA50, it's a subscription service. It's $20 a month. You're going to save 50% off your first month's subscription. They have everything there. They have NFL futures. They have NFL week-by-week stuff when the season comes out. They have Major League Baseball. They have college football. They have the NBA. They have Major League Baseball. They have everything that you want to bet on. They have the WNBA. They have everything that you want to bet on. The best place to do research for you to easily identify trends and matchups and lines that are favorable. We all use it here to determine our futures. So let's get into those. I'll kick it off by saying that my favorite future is Bijan Robinson over 10.5 rushing touchdowns. So last year, 14 rushing touchdowns for Bijan Robinson. He was awesome. Again, I went over the splits where he gets 20.9% of his carries inside the 10-yard lines when Michael Penix is the starter. He had 14 last year, over 10.5 at even money. I am smashing. Give me Bijan Robinson over 10.5 rushing touchdowns for my 2025 favorite bet, brought to you by Props.cash. Again, use code DATA50 at www.props.cash to get 50% off your first month subscription. All right, Mincy, who do you like for your favorite bet?
We have a very rare Moody and I discrepancy on mine.
Okay.
Because Moody likes him a little bit. Look, I think Javonte Williams is so washed up. And, I just started laughing when the Cowboys signed him. And he was so talented coming out of college in North Carolina. He broke more tackles than he made in the NCAA. He's never recovered from that knee injury his rookie year. He never has. Denver tried and tried and tried to make him the guy. And I'll tell you a little thing. I bet his unders almost every week last year and lost twice. He's washed completely. His over-under's 500.5, which is only 30 yards a game, basically, yeah. Which is low. But I'm willing to die on the hill that if he comes out and he is good for Dallas, I got to see it to believe it. I think he's done. And, I never want to root for people to fail, but I don't think he's an NFL running back. And I am going to fade him, and I'm going under 500.5 yards. And I will continue betting his unders until this is a hill I'm going to die on.
So on this graph, he obviously been in the league 4 years. His career high rushing is 903 yards. Last year, 513 yards. If you're getting 500.5, you're going over. That's pretty much taking a very, very minor step back from last year, which is reasonable. All right, Moody, who do you got?
I have to dispute. Well, first off, I have to dispute it. I think Javonte Williams is going to have a solid season, potentially. This is the best offensive line he's ever played with. It'll be the best offense. I think there's a chance that Javonte Williams is decent. So I don't want to crap on Mitch.
It is a low number. Yeah, but like I said, I'm going to keep firing those game unders on him too.
And I think one of the reasons his numbers is low, Miles Sanders is there. They got Jadon Blue, but Blue's a smaller back. Like, I can't see
I think Blue's just third down guy.
Yeah, but look, Javonte Williams, he caught like 52 balls last year. Yeah. So he's a potential do-it-all type back. We'll see how it works out. Maybe the semi-Cowboys fan in me is just being optimistic. All right, time now for my props, not cash, play of the season. I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,250 plus rushing yards. Plus 175. He ran for 1,412 yards last season. I mean, I already talked about him. He's my RB1. I think he's going to have a sensational season. I can't get away from him. Yes, David Montgomery's there, but David Montgomery is not Jahmyr Gibbs. This guy is a touchdown waiting to happen anytime he touches the football. Plays with one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. He's going to get plenty of touches. He's going to get... I mean, I almost took him for 1,500 plus. Like, I think he could have a monster season. That's how high I am on Jahmyr Gibbs. 1,250 plus feels like the right spot. Plus 175. I love it.
So he has been my favorite rushing prop for the past couple of years. Jahmyr Gibbs' longest run. So when he was a rookie, it was like 12.5. They creeped up to 13.5. It even got up to, at one point, 14.5. He smashes it every week. And last year, they finally caught on where they started it, in the 15.5 range. By the end of the year, it was 19.5, to the point where it was like, all right, maybe say what he was even smashing those. So Jahmyr Gibbs' longest run, very, very fun. So the line for Gibbs is 1075.5, but you like it even better with the odds plus 175 at 1250 plus. I like that.
Yeah, I'll probably double down on that and take both. So like obviously the over under there, we say 1075. I'll take the over there, and I'll take the 1250 plus at plus 175 because maybe it's the home run prop better in me. I love chasing some long odds. So give me that. I can't get away from Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to be one of my most owned players this season, especially in auction leagues. Like, he's the guy that I am chasing down in auction leagues. We'll see what happens as far as picks are concerned and redraft, or in just snake leagues. But ready for it. Let's have a big season, Gibbs.
Love it. All right, this has been our running backs. Do you have something else?
No, I'm just laughing because this will be funny for the show. Got their Shell Ryan text wanting the King of the South shirt. Let's go.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. When the adult film starts with the King of the South shirt, we're moving up. The Let's Get Hot movement continues.
Let's hopefully see that on screen sometime soon. All right, awesome stuff. That was our running backs preview. Stay tuned next week for our wide receivers preview. If you missed it, check out our quarterback preview. From the Fantasy Football Factory. We'll be back weekly during the year to go over DFS stuff, but the previews, wide receivers, and tight ends coming next week. Again, quarterbacks last week. This was our running back preview. For Moody, for the King of the South, Mincy, I'm Stephen Shea. See you guys next week.